Hey, I'm Woody Wyatt, and this is every Gorillaz album ranked from the worst to the best.
Bang, bang, Gorillaz!
Damon Albarn, songwriter and lead singer of the band Blur. Jamie Hewlett, writer and creator of the comic book series Tank Girl. These two people would become flatmates, and one day they were watching MTV and noticed just how commercial, like, everything was, and how little substance there was, and they wanted to satirize it. A band that were manufactured to the point where the members were literal cartoons, which they would name Gorilla, before eventually changing it to Gorilla. And that's it. There isn't really anything else. That's kind of just it, really. Oh, except for the fact that there is a whole other story for how this band formed, which has nothing to do with what I just told you, all about the animated characters, and I'm going to tell you all about that next, and get ready, because, yeah, this gets weird. Our story begins like many others throughout history. A Satanist bassist crashes his Vauxhall Astra through a building's window and dents the side of a man's face. You know, normal stuff. That bassist's name was Murdoch Nichols, and the other guy, the guy that he dented in the face, his name was Stuart Pott, soon to be known as 2D, named after the two dents in his face, the other one coming from a different time. Murdoch ran him over, I don't know. Murdoch found a drummer at a Soho record store. His name was Russell Hobbs, a New York native who was possessed by the ghosts of his rapper friends killed in a drive-by shooting. And then we have Poola Cracker, 2D's at the time girlfriend who soon became their guitarist.
But not for long!
So this band, in need of a replacement guitarist, put an advert into NME, which led to a FedEx crate arriving at their doorstep containing a 7-year-old Japanese girl that had a guitar on her, who then played the riff to end all riffs and then said one word, which became her name, Noodle. And thus, now, we have Gorillaz. As a band, they have released 8 albums, and I'm going to rank them all, starting with their 4th album, released on Christmas Day 2010, titled The Fool. This album kind of has the reputation for being the obvious pick for last. For one thing, this album is just a bunch of songs that Damon recorded while on tour for Plastic Beach, this band's 3rd album that came out the same year as this one. But also, this thing was recorded entirely on an iPad. Not only that, it was recorded entirely on an iPad before you could get GarageBand on them. This is by far the most lo-fi album the Gorillaz have ever put out. And while I can definitely respect the creativity there, I'm not gonna lie, this thing just isn't something I would ever choose to listen to. I mean, there are some really awful songs on here, like, oh my god, the Joplin Spider. The Speak It Mountains as well.
The air is thinner.
The air is thinner.
The air is thinner.
Do I even need to say anything about those songs? They're borderline unlistenable. They're like the world's most apocalyptic sounding ringtones. I don't even like the song that got the music video, Phone It to Arizona. That synth line at the start of the song genuinely sounds so farty and weak. I honestly don't think this album was dead on arrival. I think there was a good idea here. I just feel like in execution, this really doesn't work. And it's a shame because the song Revolving Doors is genuinely great. It's very much a bright spot on an honestly fairly weak album. I know there are people out there that will defend The Fool, but I am very much not one of them.
On Cracker Island it was born, to the collective of the dawn.
Coming up next, we've got their most recent release, Cracker Island. I'm gonna be completely honest here. This is probably one of the biggest disappointments I have had with an album. It's not even that it's that bad, it just could have been so much better. For one thing, almost all of the singles were great. The lead single / title track, Cracker Island, is one of the best songs this band has released in ages. New Gold with Tame Impala and Booty Brown is also a great song. Even Skinny Ape and Silent Running, I've really grown to enjoy. Baby Queen, not so much. I've never really been a big fan of that one. But still, out of all of the singles, there's only one that I didn't like. Why is the rest of this album so just mediocre? Everything sounds way too clean, way too polished. That very cartoony vibe that Gorillaz are known for is pretty much gone. Damon's vocals sound so lifeless, like he's just phoning it in the whole time. And also, on every song here that has guest features, except for maybe New Gold, they just feel so underutilized. Take the song Possession Island, for example. Is Beck even on this song? Like, I know he's credited, and I know he does, I think, backing vocals or something, but he's barely even noticeable, and that is probably a first for the guy. I mean, have you heard Debra? Then there's Oil as well, which has Stevie Nicks on it. Of all people, Stevie fucking Nicks, and you can barely even tell yet again. This album just feels like a waste of potential. It's especially a shame because I really like the concept here of the last cult. I think it's a really interesting way of moving the lore forward. It's just a shame the actual album we got was so disappointing, and I really hope this next album that's apparently coming out is a lot better.
All my life I'm in a stinking bar, I got dance, I'm a debaser. All my life.
Coming up next, we've got Humans. People really don't like this album, do they? I have met some really passionate defenders of this album, but for the most part, this is kind of up there with The Fool as the two most hated Gorillaz albums, just from what I've seen. Now, do I think this album deserves that hate? Maybe. Unlike a lot of people, I am not against this album in concept. This whole idea of Gorillaz going darker and going more political, I am fine with. For two reasons, mostly. One of them is they kind of already did it, and the other reason is that this is Gorillaz we're talking about. They have constantly changed their sound. They have constantly evolved over time. This is just natural for them. And in a period of time like the late 2010s, when so many rock bands were just releasing god-awful albums, especially in the mainstream, I can appreciate Gorillaz for taking a risk here. But, unfortunately, this is an album with really high highs and really low lows. Seriously, the highs here are higher than their Empire State Building, The Shard, and Afro Man combined. The opening track, Ascension, is honestly one of this band's best and got me into Vince Staples. I love how blunt and unsubtle Vince Staples' politically charged lyrics are. It would be the best song on here if it wasn't for Let Me Out, which is a fucking masterpiece. People don't talk about this song enough. It is so good. I love how just absolutely grandiose and epic it sounds. It's so large in scale compared to basically any other Gorillaz song. Other great songs on here include Saturnz Barz and She's My Collar, probably the two biggest songs on here. Strobe Light, when separated from its god-awful music video, is a great, more poppy song too. There's definitely some great stuff here, it's just there's also some problems that I just cannot get past. First up, let's just get the complaint out of the way that everyone seems to make. There's too many guest features on this thing. Considering this is their comeback album after I think 7 years, like, the fact that 2D is barely on this album just makes this thing seem a bit half-assed. Also, there's definitely some songs on here that I can't really stand. We Got the Power has always felt really cheesy and annoying. The song Charger, a lot of people like. I personally find Damon's vocal melody absolutely grating on that song. And Sex Murder Party is... well, it's Sex Murder Party, what do you want me to say? There's also a few other kind of weak moments. One of them being Momentz. I just think musically, with how it sounds, it just really hasn't aged well, and I honestly struggle to listen to it. I absolutely love, like, half of the album, and the other half I genuinely cannot stand. I don't really know how I feel about this one. Does it deserve the hate? Does it not deserve the hate? I have no idea. One thing I can say for sure, though, this album could have been a lot worse. I mean, have you ever heard Columbians?
Isolation, 'cause right now that's the ball where we betray.
Coming up next, we've got The Now Now. This album came out only a year after Humans and is basically the exact opposite. In my opinion, it almost feels like an apology for the last album. You thought the last album was too dark and bleak? This is as chill as you could possibly expect a Gorillaz album to be. Maybe you thought the last album had too many features. This album only has 3 and one of them's a guitarist. Unfortunately though, just as an album on its own, this thing is pretty mediocre. I mean, there's a few good songs on here. I like 2D's chorus on Hollywood. I think Trans is a great song and also probably one of very few songs on here that has grit to it. Humility was a great lead single and has a great music video with Jack Black in it. But apart from those songs, most of this album just isn't memorable to me. This album has such a chilled out, laid back atmosphere to it that it just kind of doesn't really grab your attention the same way all their other albums do. I would put this album higher than Humans, because Humans does stuff that I dislike, This album just kind of does nothing. It's honestly the album on this list that I have the least to say about. I honestly don't really have any more insight that I can add here. The last thing I want to say is this. Get ready, my friends, because the next 4 albums on this list are all good, if not great. They contain some of my favorite songs of all time. They are albums that I have listened to constantly. Just get ready, because it's only up from here. Well, I mean, it's only up from any part in this ranking, because it's from worst to best. But still, it's only getting better. No, that's also the case of any part of this ranking. I'm going to shut up now. Let's move on to number 4.
I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag.
Coming up next, we've got their debut self-titled album. You know how a lot of debut albums can feel very underdeveloped? Like they have ideas that aren't fully fleshed out and get improved upon on further releases. Yeah, Gorillaz are not a good example of that. This is pretty much the definitive statement of this band, and it's literally their first album. You can very much tell that Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett, they had an idea and just ran with it. This album has such a unique aesthetic to it. It's produced by one of my all-time favourite producers, Dan the Automator, the same guy that did Deltron 3030, and Dr. Octagon and Acme. And with this album, he, along with Damon Albarn, created a sound that is just so instantly recognizable that not even Gorillaz have really tried to replicate it. As for the songs themselves, there are some real standouts here. Obviously, the big hits here, Tomorrow Comes Today, Clint Eastwood, Rock the House, and 192000 are all brilliant. Clint Eastwood and Rock the House with their insanely quotable verses, courtesy of Del the Funky Homo Sapien. 192000 with its insanely catchy chorus that'll be in your head for ages. And Tomorrow Comes Today, which is just beautiful. I love this song. Also love the kind of mysterious vibe of New Genius, the more relaxed feel of slow country, the more aggressive and rocky M1A1 and punk. This album would be higher, but I do have one problem, which is I'm not a big fan of the way Damon sings on this album. I used to dislike it a lot more. It's starting to grow on me, but still, this kind of overly cartoony, very like high-pitched style of vocal that Damon does throughout this album. I get that he's trying to sound like a cartoon character. It's just not very pleasant to listen to. But apart from that, this is a phenomenal album. Really recommend it.
In truth, the bills, they must be paid. And what is left is salt and cake, typical.
Coming up next, we got Song Machine Season 1. This was their second last album, and is yet another reason why Cracker Island was so disappointing, because this thing was so fucking good. I'm a little bit biased here, because this album was pretty much my COVID album. For those that don't know, Song Machine basically started off as just like a series of music videos and songs released, I think, every month, which eventually got turned into an album. And pretty much every single time a song would release from this series, I would be there day one. I was obsessed. But memories I have associated with this album aside, does it still hold up 5 years later? In my opinion, absolutely. First off, the features on here are just so incredibly random. Beck, St. Vincent, Kano, Robert Smith, Softplay, Pete Hook. Hell, on the track The Pink Phantom, they get both Black and Elton John on the same track. How come they're pulling all of these off? I can only think of one feature on this album that I don't like. For the most part, they don't feel underutilized. They don't overshadow Damon Albarn. It's honestly some of the best feature work they've done since the really good albums that we'll get to later on in this list. And the songs themselves are just phenomenal as well. I absolutely love the opener, Strange Times. I mean, The Cure are actually one of my personal favourite bands, along with Gorillaz. So seeing two bands that I love collaborate like this was a dream come true for me. But also, it's just a really good song. I love how it keeps building in scale until you get into this full-on dance groove near the end. It's awesome. There's also the Beck collaboration, Valley of the Pagans, which, guys, this is what Possession Island should have been. This is how you use Beck on a song. The song Momentary Bliss is great too. I'm honestly not a big fan of Softplay or Slaves as they were called at the time, but I think they actually work on this song fairly well. Pac-Man has an absolutely phenomenal verse from Schoolboy Q. I need to listen to more from him. If you guys have any album recommendations, please let me know. The song The Lost Chord is absolutely beautiful. Both Damon and Lee John's vocals are stunning on it. Also, I love the music video for this song where they go back to Plastic Beach, and there's a lot of inside references, and we even find out that Daly is just dead. You guys don't know who Daly is? He's a real-life musician who collaborated with Gorillaz in 2010 for a one-off single, and apparently it's canon now that he's just completely dead. He just died in the Gorillaz universe. I wonder if they asked his permission before killing him off. Hey, Daly, how are you doing? It's me, Jamie Hewlett, you know, from Gorillaz. We collaborated a while ago. Yeah, how's it going? How's the family? How's everything? Glad to hear it. Hey, there's just one thing I was wondering if I could ask of you. Do you, by any chance, wanna die? The song Désolé is also a great track. It's one of the catchier ones on here. But in my opinion, there is one song that just tops everything else on this album and is in my top 3 favorite Gorillaz songs. And that song is Aries. Oh my god, I absolutely love this song. I love the soothing, relaxing, new wave inspired instrumentation. I love Pete Hook from New Order and Joy Division's bass line on this. I love Damon's vocals, I love the lyrics, I love I love basically everything about this song. This is one of the greatest songs that Gorillaz have ever put out, in my opinion. I love it so much. Friday the 13th, on the other hand, I don't really like. And it's actually got nothing to do with Octavian being such an awful human being. I mean, that makes me want to not listen to this song anymore, but I didn't even like it when it first came out. I find this song so boring and tedious, and I think the vocals are way too mumbly. It's honestly one of the worst songs Gorillaz have ever put out. But Friday the 13th is pretty much the only bad song on this album. The rest of this thing is absolutely phenomenal, and one of the best albums they've released in ages.
It's there.
Coming up next, we've got one of this band's most popular albums, Demon Days. Now, before I get into why this album is as great as it is, I actually have something kind of cool to show you. As of when I'm recording this, it is 2025, which means that not only was May 11th of this year the 20th anniversary of this album, Demon Days, but also this year was the 25th anniversary of the band as a whole. Now, for this 25th anniversary of Gorillaz, they announced quite a lot of stuff. I mean, they announced 3 different gigs at the Copper Box in Hackney. They started teasing a new album. Earlier, while I was writing this video, they put Gorillaz into Fortnite. And most importantly, for what I'm about to tell you, they put on an exhibition also at the Copper Box named House of Kong. Now, me and a man that I'm friends with both went to this exhibition, and first off, I just want to say, if there's still tickets available, fucking go to this. It is amazing. And while I was at the gift shop for this place, not only did I pick up this great shirt, but I got this. This is a double album. It's got a gatefold. As you can see, there's all this interesting artwork from Gorillaz. In my opinion, if you're a record collector, Gorillaz' early albums are a must-have. They sound amazing, they come with all this interesting artwork. They're honestly essential in my opinion. But enough about that. Let's talk about the actual album itself, because oh my fucking god, this thing is amazing. It was honestly so hard to pick between this and my number one. They're practically neck and neck for me. They're both some of my favorite albums of all time. Demon Days basically took everything that was great about the self-titled and developed it while also putting its own original spin on things. This album has the same sort of cartoony vibe, except it's darker and has more grit to it. I absolutely love the opening 3 tracks of Last Living Souls, Kids with Guns, and Oh Greenwald. Last Living Souls with its very apocalyptic lyrics. Kids with Guns, which has the second best bass line on any Gorillaz song, as well as an absolutely phenomenal ending where it just delves into pure chaos. And Oh Greenwald, which is just fucking weird, and I love it. Also, this album has 3 of this band's biggest hits in Dirty Harry, Dare, and Feel Good Inc. I absolutely love all 3 of these songs. Dare and Dirty Harry with their focus on dance grooves and phenomenal features from Booty Brown and Sean Ryder from Happy Mondays, respectively. And Feel Good Inc., which I don't even think I need to explain just how great that song is. You all know it. It's their biggest hit, and it is absolutely phenomenal. It's got the best bass line that this band have ever written. And that song is instantly followed by El Mañana, which has this really nice, relaxing, mellow groove, and a music video which is just so depressing. There's a high chance that it's Gorillaz' best music video. It's certainly my favorite, but oh my god, is it dark. The song November Has Come has probably Gorillaz' best rap verse, courtesy of MF Doom. Fire coming out of Monkey's head is almost entirely spoken word and tells a story, and it is honestly one of this band's most interesting and unique songs. Try to imagine a song like this on an album like Cracker Island. I honestly couldn't. And then you get the last 2 songs on this album, Don't Get Lost in Heaven and the title track, which are just both absolutely stunning. Probably the best way they could have ended this album. This album is so good, and it pains me to put it at number 2, but there is just one album that's so good, I might honestly put it in my top 5 of all time. And that album is their third album, released in 2010, Plastic Beach. I own this album on vinyl too, and I think this might actually be the album that I've played the most on my record player. I have played the absolute shit out of this thing. This album has a gatefold too. Here's what the inside of that looks like. And yeah, I am not kidding when I say this is one of my favorite albums ever made. As well as that, this is easily the most ambitious Gorillaz album. When it comes to Jamie Hewlett's side of things, he went all out. I'm talking not only the music videos, but also a mobile game, an interactive website. He put so much effort into the lore and the world building for this era that some of the stuff he wanted to make, he didn't even have the budget for. Like the Rhinestone Eyes music video, he had big plans for that, and instead, what it ended up being was a storyboard while they made a much cheaper music video for Doncamatic, a one-off single featuring Daly, may he rest in peace. And not only is this by far the most ambitious album in terms of Jamie Hewlett's involvement, it is even more ambitious when it comes to Damon's. For one thing, the collaborators on this album are even more insane than the ones on Song Machine. I mean, seriously, look at some of the collaborators on here. Mick Jones, Paul Simon and Snoop Dogg, Mos Def, Bobby Womack, Little Dragon, Lou Reed, Marquis Smith from The Fool, the list goes on. Hell, I'm not kidding about this. There are 2 different orchestras on this album. I imagine if they made this into a double album, there would be a song on here featuring Wayne Coyne, Ice JJ Fish, Corpse Grinder, and My Dog, and it would still be like the 2nd or 3rd weirdest collaboration on here. However, this album is so well written that none of the collaborators feel wasted. Everyone gets their time to shine, while 2D is still the center of attention, like you'd want on a Gorillaz album. And even looking past all of that, the songs on here are just so fucking good. Stylo is an absolute banger and contains one of the most powerful vocal performances I think I've ever heard, courtesy of Bobby Womack. Some Kind of Nature is probably this band's catchiest song. It really should have been released as a single in my opinion. Glitter Freeze is chaotic and weird and gets way too much shit. I actually love that song. Cloud of Unknowing is absolutely beautiful. Superfast Jellyfish is probably the silliest song on here, and I absolutely love it. I find it very quotable. Earlier while I was writing this video, I was trying to figure out what lyric from Gorillaz makes me laugh the most. At first I thought it would be the one from Valley of the Pagans where 2D describes my breakfast.
100 million Viagra tablets.
But on second thought, I think it has to be, man, are you freaking blind? That's a rock.
Man, are you freaking blind? It's a rock.
I'm not gonna lie, that has genuinely become a vocal stim of mine. And for people that aren't autistic and don't know what a vocal stim is, here you go. On Melancholy Hill was for a while one of my favourite songs of all time. I've kind of overplayed it now, but do not get me wrong, this song is absolutely beautiful. It's probably the most iconic song off this album, and rightfully so, it's phenomenal. But if we're going to talk standouts on here, we've got to talk about what is probably my favourite Gorillaz song. Empire Ants. Jesus fucking Christ, this song is awesome. If you're someone that has sensory overloads and kind of uses music to calm yourself down, may I suggest this song? It works like a charm. The way this song starts off so soothing, so calming, so relaxing, and gradually builds up until you reach this just epic climax. It is one of the best things that Gorillaz have ever put out, and honestly one of the best things that Damon has put out in general. It's up there with No Distance Left to Run by Blur. I honestly don't really want to overhype this song, because I feel like if I hype it up too much, you'll be disappointed while listening to it. That's happened to me with a lot of stuff, most notably King Crimson's Red. If you only ever listen to one Gorillaz album, make it Plastic Beach. You will not be disappointed, at least in my opinion. And if you are disappointed, at least you gave it a shot. And for all the reasons I just stated, plus many more, I consider Plastic Beach to be the best album that Gorillaz have ever made.